So quick tip, we're talking about music today. And the number one tip I can give you for music is what you're using right now is probably too epic. I find it funny, some people will send me their edits and it's just shots of people walking, doing very normal stuff, but the music is... So yeah, just stop doing that. But today let's actually talk about music and what is the right music for your films. You know, this year we've released 4 films, 58 Hours, No Country is an Island, Battleground, what's the 4th one?
Killer Be Killed.
Killer Be Killed, how could I forget? Yes, 4 films, and the music in those films was integral. They just would not be the same films without the music that we chose, composed, and curated for that. So today I want to talk about elevating your films with music. Where to start, what music to choose, how to use the emotion of that score to help your film. So let's jam. Hey, just before I get into the tips, these are weeds. They're taller than me right now. Call up my landlords, tell them to cut them. I would love that. Let's start a petition. Someone start a petition. Cut the weeds. So, music for me, besides story in a film and having a good character, would probably be one of the most important aspects of your film. You can get by with mediocre images, you can shoot a film on a bad camera. There's many films out there that have done this, but they still had a good score and a good story, and they're still very watchable. So if you mess up the music, you're kind of messing up your whole film. So my first point when it comes to music is just what I was joking about at the beginning. Less is more. I think people get so excited when they get into a music library that they choose music that is too epic, it's too big. The best analogy I could use is it's like they're going into the color correction and moving the sliders to saturate the image, to add too much contrast and too much clarity, where your music doesn't have to be super epic in order to tell a quote epic story. Sometimes your music can steal from the image. You want it to complement what's going on. You almost don't want people to be thinking about the music. You want them to be feeling the music. That's why sometimes in Killer Be Killed, we just use small music scores, just a little bed of sound that really helped what was going on and kept the pace of the film moving forward.
I built this body for fighting. I gotta think what satisfies me more now today, and it's probably doing stuff for other people rather than myself.
Same with my other 2 films I released this year, No Country is an Island and 58 Hours. Both of these films use music that wasn't always necessarily at the craziest height of emotion. Also too, why this principle of less is more is important is if you're always at a fever pitch of epic music, then you have nowhere to go. It's like yelling at someone for your entire film. You need peaks and valleys. Your music shouldn't always be super intense. It also kind of makes you look like an amateur when you're using crazy trailer music when someone's just doing something very normal. Oh, there's a smudge. Gross. Okay, and I want to give a quick shout out to MusicBed. I've been using them since almost the beginning of my documentary career. My first documentary I ever made, I used MusicBed music in it, and it was so important to that film, and it really did make it, because when I made that film, I don't know if I really knew what I was doing, but the music helped guide me towards the end. And I mean this when I say it. They've been an integral part of every film or commercial that I've ever made, whether it's the music in the actual final product or it helping me in pre-production. This is how I created the film Rescate, which is still one of my favorite documentaries I've ever made. The story wasn't necessarily clear for me when I was going into the project. So one day I went to a Nando's, I liked their chicken. I sat down there, opened up a MusicBed playlist, and just started writing. I let the music inspire the images to the film. And I wrote down 30 different scenes that I wanted to capture. And then I went down to Dominican for 2 weeks and I shot that film, and I captured about 25 of those scenes. And it was really that music and my imagination working together to help come up with those scenes. I just began seeing them as I was listening to the music. And in the final film, it was all MusicBed music, and it worked really well. And this is what differentiates MusicBed from other music libraries out there. Is the music's good. I mean that the music is well curated. Half the time I spend editing, I feel like it's searching for music. But when I go to MusicBed, I know every track in there is by a real artist in a real band making real music, not just getting paid to make stock music. Not taking away anything from people who make stock music for a living, but I know I don't have to sift through a lot of mediocre music on MusicBed. Also too, I remember when I started my YouTube channel a couple years ago, it got really confusing with copyright claims, but MusicBed simplifies that with their Sync ID program where it just automatically clears it. And right now, if you use the coupon code MarkBone at checkout, you'll get a free month for their annual subscription, so go check that out and use the code MarkBone. My next point is you should be able to listen to the music in your film without the images attached to it. What I mean by that is it should be able to stand alone. It should just be good music. You should enjoy the music just listening to it without watching the film alongside it. For a lot of my films, I start by choosing music that I actually like, that moves me, that I feel something, and I wish there was images attached to it.
If I'm gonna build muscle, it's gonna be for a more important reason.
The only time I would say this doesn't apply is when the music you're choosing is supposed to be intentionally making the viewers uncomfortable. There was moments like this in my film 58 Hours where we used music that just felt off-putting because we were talking about a girl being trapped in a well, and this is not comforting. I find music in some other stock music libraries that will remain nameless, the music just feels amateur, and this is gonna make your film feel amateur. I challenge you to do this. Turn off the video track in your editing software and just listen to the music. Do you enjoy the music? Do you wish you had to skip through it? Is it getting annoying? Is the music telling a story on its own? If you're finding that it's not doing anything for you, that it's not moving you, or that you don't wish that you could attach images to it, then it's not the right music and you need to choose some other tracks. Lastly, and this is a crucial point because I've made this mistake for years, is you want your music to tell a story. Simply put, you can't just fill your film with ambient music beds. I used to do this because it wouldn't conflict with the words I was saying and it was just this nice track and I could kind of put any images over that. That's the issue, is I could do whatever I wanted to over top of the music. And in turn, the music wasn't telling a story because my film wasn't telling a story. And so if you're just always using ambient music tracks, music that doesn't go anywhere, that doesn't have a crescendo or has an emotion that adds into it and that builds or has moments where it decays, then maybe your film isn't doing the same thing. It's not rising, it's not having moments where there is more emotion and where it's growing and actually telling the journey of your character. And this is why being a good storyteller is so important. Whether it's choosing the music in your film or choosing the lens on the front of your camera, you want to know good story. And I talk about that a lot on this channel, and I also talk about it even more in our documentary course, which is still open. So there you go. Just to recap that. Less is more. Do not choose music that is too epic for the images. When it needs to be epic, go there, but don't choose epic music just because it's there. Secondly, choose music that you actually enjoy, that you could listen to on its own. And then thirdly, does your music tell a story? And if it's not, ask yourself, is my film telling a story? If the two things are working together, then you're gonna have a powerful, compelling film. So look for those when you're building your film. Thank you guys for watching this. Go check out MusicBed. Again, like I say, it's my first place I go to when I'm building the scores for my films, and you'll see that because it's in so many films, whether it's No Country is an Island, 58 Hours, or Rescate, or Kill or Be Killed. The list goes on for films that I've used MusicBed to help score them. Thanks so much for watching this, guys. I'll see you in the next one.